saying how he looked after us. As I said, he was a very disciplined, he was a strong disciplinarian. So I suppose in those days we children listened. We were very obedient. So I don't know, we just did well. I mean, his aspiration for me was very high. I knew, and I was quite good at school. So he cultivated, encouraged me. And you know that the way he disciplined me at that time, I could not, we had no TV at that time. Yeah. And movies were very rare because he didn't have the time, now can afford it. But on the rare occasions that he would take me to see a movie, he would vet the movie first.
Oh, really?
Himself. If the movie was suitable for me, he would go again with me and my mother, and then we would have a meal outside. So because of all this, that kind of upbringing, and you know that he put premium on education, so and I tended to be also good with my studies. My brother, on the other hand, he wasn't strong academically, so he channeled him into music and nurtured him, his musical talent, and he became an able musician, and he joined bands, he created his own bands and traveled in Europe, my brother. And then there were a lot of his adoptive grandchildren whom he saw, when he saw that they had talent, he would nurture them. But my two sisters, I have a stepmother, and they live with the stepmother. So I'm afraid my father did not have much control over their upbringing. So they married quite young. So.
And you know, Dr. Rohana, can you tell us right now how important this book is this book itself? Zubir said the goals of Majulah Singapura that they've now brought this to reality. How important is this for you? And how would you like the readers who get this book, what would you expect them to learn from? What kind of reflections do you wish to impart?
First of all, I think when I was writing this book, at the back of my mind, I will always think my father never did. He was a man who struggled, had a lot of integrity, patience, studied on his own. So I have at the back of my mind my father's own personality to guide me to complete the book. Oh dear, so sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll just repeat one more time, sorry.
Yeah, about the book.
Yes. So, Dr. Rohana, tell us, how important this book has been for you, and also, how would you like your readers who have, bought this book and learn from your perspective and the kind of lessons that you have experienced?
I'm trying. Well, first of all, I feel I owe it to my father to write. A couple more books have been written on him, but his daughter, I would have a deeper insight into the man, and it so happened that I have so much of his paraphernalia, his scores, his letters. And he was a man who was so meticulous, he would have carbon copies of all his letters that he wrote.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he had carbon copies, he had newspaper cuttings, he had scores, quite a lot for me to be able to piece together. And I felt that I owe it to him to do this book because it contains a very comprehensive detail of his life, and in in doing that, I had no choice but also to talk a lot about myself and the family and the relationships he has with us. Well, because our lives is rather intertwined, right? And how I would like this book, and I think I've done it in such a way that I have accounted as truthfully as I can on the basis of the materials that I have, the life that his life as the composer of the national anthem and what challenges he had in writing that composed that song and the post composition when on two occasions definitely. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of history here. For example, in 1986, someone wrote to the papers, let's change the national anthem to sing what we Singapore or something like that. I can't remember. It was a song composed by, commissioned by Fraser and Neff. It was a pop song that fascinated the youth, the young. And so this person wrote to the press, and as a result, it started snowballing into a political issue. And again, it cropped up in 1991. And in 1991, it was the grassroots politicians themselves who brought the matter up. And again, my father had died in 1987. But then I thought that was very painful for me, because he had died and I felt kind of sad. But then the truth be told in the book, how it was, what his aspiration was, why was the composition in Malay? Because it was a constitutional, it is history. It explained why it was in Malay, but they wanted it in English, and yet there were people defending it. That's fine. So that's the historical part, and then for the people who were happy, who were very interested in culture, there's a lot of culture in the book about his music, film music, his compositions, how he went about composing the background music for films. It's all stated in there. So and also in the epilogue, I have stated his legacies, where from that on, they could be platforms for the young ones to read and maybe use that as basis for further research and development. So of course his system, Somisas's system, is also in the book, where even until today, despite the fact that he wanted so much to encourage the public to learn how to sing using the number system, so that even the man in the street could hum a tune if they could read music with numbers without worrying about the stuff, the tradition, the complicated stuff notation. So it's a basic that men in the street could sing too. You know, you don't have to depend. A singer, for example, the singers do not have to depend on the musicians for understanding the song if they themselves can read in number notation. So this is called Somisasi system. Is in the book and how it's done. And it was at one congress, a literary congress in Johor in 1956, I think. It was one of the resolutions that the schools in Singapore would introduce the system of learning music using the number notation. But it came to nothing. And so he himself, because he was still very, very passionate about it, he produced his own book. He actually published his own book. Because people has not got at that time. Somebody said that he was too what do you call this, too early for people to follow him. He was ahead of everybody's thinking. So he went to schools, he taught teachers how to use the system with his book, and he also organized private lessons free of charge, just because he wanted to impart this knowledge. He was so passionate about it. Money was not important for him. In fact, if you read the book he wrote somewhere, he said he wasn't that concerned about royalty. For him, it's an experience that he wanted when he composed for the Malay film industry. It was the experience he wanted to learn. Everything that he did, he wanted to learn, you know. And one Italian composer asked him, how much are you paid and how much time do you expend on your work? And when he said, oh, he was flabbergasted. He said, wow, if I had only composed 2 songs, I could have bought a car. So my father retorted and said, that's your country. We are just starting here. That was all he said. He wasn't motivated by money. He didn't die rich. No artist do, I think.
Now, for our viewers around the world who are trying to understand why the national anthem was composed in Malay, could you give us some insights on that?
Oh, that's history, huh?
Yes, I mean, because
Singapore was once, I may not be very accurate, forgive me for that, I've forgotten a lot of the history, but I can recall Singapore was then part of Tanah Melayu Federation of the States. Through some historical development with Sultan of Johor, Singapore, and then Malaya wanted its independence from the British. And Singapore to get its own independence, they went along together. So Tunku Abdul Rahman was able to get, independence for both, I think, Singapore and Malaya at that time. And that time they were talking about joining with Indonesia, and that one didn't come true. But later on, Malaysia became Sabah and Sarawak became part of Malaysia. And Singapore, I can't explain the detail, but because of that, Singapore's connection with Tanah Melayu, there was in the constitution, it says Singapore, the national language will be Malay, and all the other languages, national languages. In that, I hope the reader will excuse me, but read more on the history of this as this part of. So that's why Malay is still retained as the national language. But over time, it's been what, 50 years now? So the younger generation getting further and further away from learning, from understanding the national language, and they thought it should be in English because English, they consider English as the main lingua franca, which is true. But I don't think they understood the history. If they do, probably they will not query it so much. Because like who said, was it Mr. Lee Kuan Yew said, Mr. Chok Tong, your Prime Minister before, after Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, is Goh Chok Tong, right?
Yes, Goh Chok Tong, yes.
He said, if you change the national language you change the language of the anthem, you're changing history. It's as simple as that. And can you change history? Or you have to do a completely new constitution? I mean, I don't know. Sorry, this is a very heavy question. I can't answer totally well.
No problem. But Dr. Rohana, thank you for joining us here at the National Critics' Choice. And before we let you go, of course, we'd like to have some 3 key advice for the next generation, for those who are aspiring to become musicians, or composers like your father. what would be the three key advice that you have observed your father's life work that could inspire for aspiring musicians?
Aspiring musicians.
Yes.
To be honest to oneself. To not to cast away tradition. Find something new, but not to adopt or to copy without studying, without searching, without even creating new elements in the music or in the culture, even borrowed, provided it is so studied and it could be juxtaposed so that it became a unique culture which you can call your own. In other words, not simply copy, but be creative, be original, and work hard.
Well said and wise sayings from Dr. Rohana Zubir. And once again, thank you for joining me here at the National Critics' Choice with Dr. Rohana Zubir, who is the author for Zubir Side, the composer of Majulah, Singapura, which is now released worldwide. You can find it available on Amazon as well as bookstores around the world. And please do take a look at this book. It's worth reading. And oh yes, and there's also a CD included in this book. So you
nine songs.
Yes.
Majulah Singapura,
yes.
one of them.
Oh yes.
And the song that was sent to Federation of Malay States as the anthem.
Wow.
Is also there.
So you're getting a good buy. So once again, thank you for joining me. I'm Robin Stienberg. Have a good week ahead, and do visit the website of ICES if you'd like to make an order for this book. Once again, have a good week ahead.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Is it finished?
Yes, it's finished. It's been very
I don't know whether I've given you the answer you want.
Well, time will tell. I will edit it.